So I am very dedicated to bringing you meat and potatoes. I don't like fluff. The fluff is all the other stuff that's not educational. What you just got is educational. So I would like to introduce somebody to you. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about that person. He happens to be a personal friend of mine. He's from the South Florida region, who has a team that's actively closing over 100 units a year every year. He was a team leader at the same time of running a team. He's married, has 5 children that he's adopted, 5, and I'm going to guess in about a 2-year period he adopted all 5, maybe 2.5 years. And he's a bold coach. He happens to be a very close friend of mine, Hudson Warren. So I'm going to turn this over to Hudson. And is that correct? You adopted all 5 in about a 2.5 year period, Hudson?
Well, so here's the real truth, and this is a funny correction. It's 6 kids, not 5, because we're crazy. And it's been about a 3-year span.
Listen, are you going for the baker's dozen? Are you going for 13 or what?
That is, there's a story there for another time. No, sir. I believe that I would like us to continue to fit in one car. That's kind of where I break.
Well, with that being said, guys, I want to introduce you to Hudson. He's going to speak to you right now. He's somebody that I admire, and you should too. When you get to know him, you'll understand why I'm saying that. So Hudson, take it away, buddy.
Thank you, my friend. I really, really appreciate you making time. And yes, I'm excited to be here. The first thing, and I know a lot of you I actually know, because a year ago I did Bold and your office was the host. And for those of you that don't know me, my name is Hudson Warren, and I do have a team called the HomeWise team. The first thing you need to know about me is that I am just like you. Like, I'm still in the trenches. I still sell real estate and I still run a team. And last year with 6 producing agents, we closed 206 units, which was right around 60 million in volume and 1.6 million in GCI. So I do what you do. I was in the crazy market that we were in, and now I'm in the same place of like, what's happening with the market the way it is now? And I'm a MAPS coach and a Bold coach, which is where my heart lies. That's the whole truth. I've learned that my purpose is to help people get what they want. My purpose is to help people see strengths within themselves they didn't previously see, because that's what happened with me, because otherwise I wouldn't have anything that I have. And as Rich has already shared, I do live a big life outside of real estate. We have 6 kids. We are currently halfway through a down to the studs renovation of our house while living there with 6 kids and an innumerable amount of animals. And so I live a big life. So if
no bathrooms here, they're all gone.
Look, it's just, so if you're like on a regular basis feeling like, oh, I just have so much going on, like, I'm your guy to talk to. Like, I bow down to time blocking, because without it, I would die. So here's what I want to talk with you guys today. It's a little bit less about gold, and it's more about the reality of where we're at, because we have to know, right? So we were in this market, and now we're trickling out of it, right? Or I think it's more than a trickle at this point. It was really service-based, and except that's the nice word that Gary puts on it. One interesting thing about Gary Keller is as he's gotten older, he's gotten nicer, which is so great. It's usually the other way around. And here's the reality. It wasn't service-based, it was speed-based. Like, you didn't really have to give great service. If you were first to the listing appointment, you were probably going to get it. If you were the first one to show the property and you could write real fast, your client would get the buy side of the deal, right? So it was really a speed-based market, which was great, because for a lot of us, we made a ton of money. Yeah, we had to show a lot of houses and write multiple offers. And yet at the end of the day, there was an overabundance of business. And that is not where we are right now. Right now, we're moving rapidly into a skills-based market. And so I want to ask you a few questions, and I don't need you to say anything out loud. I would like, some of you are driving, you just think. For those of you that are stationary, write these answers down, and this is for you. This is your clarity, right? So I want to ask you, where are you currently skilled? Pertaining to your business, like pertaining to your real estate business, where are you currently highly skilled? Whatever that is, write that down. And then the next thing that I want to ask you is, on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you rate your skill as far as preparedness for the market that we're going into? So like, we know we can write an offer real fast, right? That's not it. How would you rate your preparedness for the market that's based on skill? And then the last question here that I would like you to answer and again, this is for you, there's no right or wrong here. What skill do you have the most room for improvement in? And honestly, do you even know? Because I'm going to take a wild guess that there's some people right now that are like, well, I don't even know. And that's okay. And yet, where do you have the most room for improvement? So I'm going to share a few things with you that I actually picked up at a training that I was at that was for specifically for coaches while I was at Mega Camp, which just happened, right? So I'm going to, because it ties what we're talking about together. So we're talking about skills-based and succeeding. So it's performance, right? And your performance is driven by your relationship with possibility. Like, and let's just be real. Are you glass half full or glass half empty, right? Because if you're going to go perform at a high level, you're going to have to be looking for possibility, looking for opportunities. And if you boil down what performance really is, performance is simply your potential minus any interference. Performance equals potential minus interference. Now, I'll be the first one to be vulnerable. If I'm left at my natural state, I am like a human squirrel. My team, my director of sales, physically gave me a squirrel costume one Halloween and he said, put it on. This is what you're dressed as. Now, this was years ago. That is my natural. And so your performance is your potential minus interference. It's focus. I want you to do something for me. And I am not an artist, so you can laugh at my circle. I won't be offended. You're going to draw a circle and you're going to section off 2 pieces at the top. So basically take a quarter of the circle and then cut that in half. So you had like 8 slices of cake. You're going to draw 2 of them and the rest is going to be open. Does that make sense? Can we all do this? Unless you're driving, please don't do it. All right. And here's what I'm going to ask for you to do. The very top slice that you created, the small slice, not that big section. All right. I want you to write next to it or in it, depending on how big your circle is, things that you know that you know. These are things that you know that you know. So like, I know how to open a lockbox, and I know that. I know how to drive my car, and I know that. I know how to talk to a buyer about objections, and I know that. What is it that you know and that you know? You know it. In that second small slice, I want you to write down the things that you know, the things that you know you don't know. The things that you know you don't know. So like, for instance, maybe you've never done a short sale before, and yet you know they exist. You know that maybe if you learned it, you would get some extra sales every year. So these are things that you know that you do not know. All right. Now you've got that big section, that 75% of the circle. And right in there, I want you to write down blind spots. Blind spots, and kind of underneath or next to wherever it fits, write down the things that you don't know, you don't know. The things that you don't know, you don't know. And here's the reality. Most people, and you know it's true, most people live in that big old 75% and never change it. Most people live by that ridiculous saying that ignorance is bliss, and they live in their box until they live in a box. So we're not going to be that way. I know that you're not that way. You wouldn't be on this call today. So we've got to identify the real things that are getting in our way, right? If we're where we are now and we want to move over here, then we simply have to figure out what's in our way. Those are the blind spots. We got to figure them out. And a problem that's properly identified is 80% solved. So knowledge power, right? When you figure out which problem is, that is most of the battle right there, because then it's easy to fix it. There's so many other people who have done what you now need to do. So you just find them and you go. I want to leave you with one last quote, and then I'm going to kind of tie this all together for you. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. And I don't know about you.
That's a note-taking moment, guys. Write that down.
One more time.
One more time, Hudson. Say that one more time.
I got you. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. And my friends, here's the reality. You've all been around those people. In fact, most of us have probably been that person at some point, or maybe we're that person right now that says things like, well, if it's meant to be, it'll happen. I'm just going to wait for this and blah, or it works for him and it doesn't work for me. And guess what? When you're thinking it, the voice is annoying like that because it's not true.
Crazy enough, that's your voice, right?
There's no fair. There is no fair. So let me ask you. So I'm going to go back and again, just live an opportunity with me just for this next couple of minutes. Just I know you'll be like, this is silly. Just go with it. If you had a magic button and with just one click, you could master any one business skill that would allow you to dominate this shifting market, which by the way, is where you pick up market share that will never be taken away unless you retire. If you had a magic button, you'd get one skill overnight. What would it be? Write that down. And then once you've written that down, I want you to answer the same question for your world outside of real estate. If you had a magic button and you could hit it and change one thing, whether it's in regard to your health, to your wealth, to your relationships, to your marriage, to the relationships with your children, to the way that you live your life, whatever it was, you had one, you could just hit it and get that. Write that down too. Because I don't think that any of you on here are robots that only sell real estate. You're people. And here's the reality. And y'all can giggle because it's cheesy. It's just the truth. Like I have the button and the button is bold. Like the button is absolutely bold. Whatever it is that you're looking to change in your life and or your business. Because trust me, I have had both change through coaching and conditioning environments. And that's what I want to make sure you understand. I'm not going to go into like a long drawn out explanation of bold because I think most of you know, and if not, Rich can tell you, Rich is a bold coach. Here's the truth. It's coaching. Yes, there's a classroom aspect. What you really come for is the coaching, the conditioning, and the accountability so that you can go from here to here. And the last thing I want to leave you with, I'm going to give you a stat and I'm going to explain to you quickly why I coach bold. And then I'll take any questions and I'll let you wrap up your meeting. Last October, and some of you were with me last October, we had 6% of all agents in Keller Williams in bold. So 6% of this company, not a giant number, right, was in a bold room for a 2-month period last October. During that 2-month period, that 6% of agents took 22% of all listings in this company and created 51% of all pending deals. There's not 100 people in our company, for the record. We're talking about 200,000 people, and 6% of them created 22 and 51% of the business, of the paychecks. Here is why I'm here today and why I coach bold. Here's why I get in my car and get on planes and leave my 6 kids, because I actually do like them. It's not to escape them. This is why I do this, is because in October of 2014, I went to bold for the first time. Now, I had sold a really impressive 0 houses so far that year, 10 months in, felt great. And I went to bold out of pretty much desperation. I put it on a credit card. I really shouldn't have because all my credit cards were maxed out, right? And I went and I created 11 deals in 2 months and 7 of them closed by the end of the year, which stopped me from having to go get a soul-sucking job that I did not want. And at that point, I was unemployable anyways. I mean, I would never have known how to have a boss. I went 15 times in a 5-year period. And the truth is, I'm really not that slow of a learner. Bold is not about the class. Bold is about the experience. Bold is about who you become when you're in that environment of growth and positivity with a focus on mindset, pairing it with actions. And so seven units closed in 2014. 2017, I closed 111. In 2019, I made over $1 million for the first time. And I don't share that to brag. I share that because there's people like me in your seats right now. I have a high school education. That is it for education for me. And I grew up in I don't know if it's upper lower class or lower middle class. We weren't on the streets and we didn't have a lot. And the guy in October of 2014 could not have seen any of this. Not just the business growth, that I would be a coach, that I would have happily married because I was not in a great relationship at the time, that I would have 6 kids and like it, that I'd be able to buy our dream house and pay cash for a renovation that is literally an insane amount of money and I just want to die sometimes, and I can do it. I have that freedom. And so I want to ask you guys, there's probably 1 or 2 of you that literally like, your business is great and your life is great. And as far as you're concerned, there are literally like, you're good. Like if nothing ever changed, you would be happy. You don't need bold. Any of you that are sitting there and desire more in your life, which you're allowed to do, by the way. I feel like we're kind of told as a society that that's bad to want more. It's not. Money is good for the good that it can do. Your health is good so you can be around longer, and your life will be better if you join us. So, hey, Rich, do you by chance have paper registration forms?
I do, Mike.
That's
We're the paper
so
registration forms.
You're the best. So here's what I'm going to ask. You can see your group and I can't. So you're my accountability. If you know that it's time for you to put yourself in an environment, and by the way, set yourself up for massive success in 2023, because look at the timing. If you're ready to sign up and change your life, raise your hand.
Well, some of us have already signed up. I know Rodelli already signed up. Tom, Ed, Angeli. I'm so sorry. Angeli, Patty, Tom, John already signed up for full bowls.
Love it.
So just talking about, are you ready to sign up for the full bowl and not procrastinate? Because the price of bowl does go up as it gets closer to bowl. It's $7.99 now. The day of step one, it goes up to $8.49. So a lot of people, so I'll just wait. Guys, procrastination is the evil. It puts the C in cancer, right? That's the complacency. If you know you're going to sign up, do it now, because Hudson is also offering, if I can help you out here, Hudson, some special training he's going to do for those people that sign up for the sign up for the full bowl now before bowl starts, so that you'll be able to zoom into his training. You're going to get free education in a market where skills are more important than ever before. How many people are finding the market is kind of wonky, a little bit different? Do you have a strategy to overcome that? Because if you don't, you need to be in bold. For the 4 of you who've already signed up, my heart goes out, because you understand what's at stake. For those of you who don't understand it, and guys, for me, so I have a, yes.
We have 2 people on Zoom who just said they're signing up right now.
For first step or full?
Simona, Yolanda, full step or first step or full? Simona said both.
Okay.
Full. Mine is full.
Yay.
Full, love that. So you've got 3 of the ALC members already signed up out of the 4, and another 1 is signing up. So that's 2. So guys, I'm offering, as the broker, guys, as the owner of the company, a reimbursement program. So the reimbursement program is for the first 4 closings that you execute during the 7 weeks of bowl. I'm offering you back $200 per closing, so long as your cap is 9,000 or more, right? Because we do have expansion agents in the office. They have a smaller cap. If you're an expansion agent, it would be $100 for the first 4 closings. Does everybody understand that? So you have 4 closings. You have 4 closings at $200. You're actually going to get the education and make $1. Plus, you get all the closings. So the training, the coaching, and everything that Hudson is offering you will be free. And what did Hudson just say? 6% or 11,000 agents took Bold in October. That's the biggest launch. They took 11,000 agents, had 51% of all the pendings. We have 185,000 agents roughly in the company. So basically 174,000 agents only had 49% of all the pendings. Those 11,000 in Bold had 51%. Do you think that's a coincidence?
No.
Does everybody understand what he's talking about? If you want to deal with learning a skill set that's going to take you and teach the extra skill sets that's necessary to win in this market, because if you weren't in real estate in 2008, guys, you are not prepared for what we're coming into. If you see me making a lot of changes in staff and policies and everything in this office, it's because I was in the market in 2008. I'm preparing you for what we're going to head into. And if you keep putting your head down in the sand, you're going to wake up and you're going to be out of real estate. So I fully support Bold. I'm still a Bold coach, right? I'm just not, this is Hudson. He's a good friend of mine. I'm offering $200 from the first 4 units you penned during Bold. Hudson, does that sound about accurate?
That sounds about accurate. And here's the last thing that I want to share.
Hold on, Hudson, 1 second. There's a couple questions that maybe you can answer.
Go
Yes,
for it.
Bethany.
This is Bethany as the productivity coach. If you sign up for full bowl before step 1, your name will go in a drawing and I will give you $100 of my own money.
That's in Bethany's productivity coaching program.
It's for raffle.
Do we know the time? The time that it's been out?
Yeah, it'll be from 8:30 in the morning till
No,
3:30 in the afternoon.
no. 9 o'clock. It's the time has changed, Rich. It's 9 to 2:30. Every session is 9 to
Okay,
2.
so 9 to 2:30 is 1 day a week for 7 weeks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tom, you had a question.
Yeah, not a question, just a statement to kind
Sure.
of piggyback. I know I've taken bowl down 6 times and I've never paid a single penny for it because of the reimbursement program.
Yep.
Imagine that.
You know what day of the week? You know,
Tuesday.
What day of the week? Days.
like, no.
Oh, it's
So
not
guys-
here?
Excuse me?
Oh, it's not-
No, guys. It's not in Lake Nona. They're just the host market center. It's in Orlando.
Just imagine this, there's gonna be that many, there'll be somewhere between 100 and 150 people in the classroom.
Well, let me be real with you. Last October, when we weren't in a shift, we had 152 people in that bowl and we ran out of seats and had a wait list. So this is the other thing that y'all need to understand. Like, procrastination might literally cost you a seat in the class. And I want to give you a number beyond the percentages, because like let's relate it directly to you. The average bold student currently will create 11 deals while they're with us for 2 months. Average. So you're like, oh, I'm newer. Who cares? It's an average of 11 deals. And I know your average price point is not $100,000. So it's an average of 11 deals. And if you want more than that, go get more than that. I had a person in one of my bolds this summer who took 256 listings, and I'm not misspeaking. I saw them. 256 listings. I had a gentleman in our bold last October in Orlando create 97 deals. Yo, this will change your life. I encourage you to be there and just go all in and go get what you deserve out of life, because we got plenty of people who won't bother.
You know, Hudson, one of the questions I always ask is, when we say that your average person does, how many people wake up in the morning and think that they're average? Because I don't.
I don't.
And I don't think you do either. So the average is for average people, and everything above average is for what you desire. Remember, the activities and the actions you take will bring you the results that you desire. And if you're not taking those activities, if you're not stepping outside of your comfort zone, life begins at the end of your comfort zone. It's not inside of it. And if you're not getting outside of your comfort zone, then you're not growing. And if you're not growing, then you're dying.
Well, and
That's simple.
I know that there's people in that room, that most people in the room desire more out of their life and or their business. And the path to more is through different. You can't keep doing what you're doing, and especially in a shifting market. And I, like Rich, have been in the business since 2006. I started on the other side of the country. And it was awful to watch literally to watch cars getting towed out of the parking lot, to be on a showing and be like, why is this house so familiar? And look on the tax records and realize that it was a friend of mine who had been foreclosed on. And I don't mean to paint gloom and doom. It's just the reality. It's going to be harder to make money. And the gift is, so many agents will get out of the business, and I need you guys to not be those agents. I need for you guys to go make all the money and take all the business that they left behind and go create an amazing life that you never even dreamed of. That's what that is why I get up and do what I do. So look, take the piece of paper, sign up, don't second guess. It's not a cost of well, first of all, it's a cost of nothing. And even if they weren't reimbursing, it's not a cost, it's an investment. There's plenty of you that would be like, oh, that's a lot of money. And yet if a new iPhone came out tomorrow, you'd go get in line to get it. And I have no judgment on you. It's just that this will bring you a return. All right. I want y'all to share, Rich, any of you can share my contact information. If any of you
I appreciate that.
You didn't want to ask like publicly or whatever, reach out to me. My goal is to get as many people in that room, especially from this office, because I got a lot of respect for your leadership, because we're going to go take over the world. And I want you there.